every moment I always think it's thanks to Benjamin. You know, if it weren't for him, I wouldn't be doing this, and my family would be without me. You know, it's not just me, it's your environment, your family, your friends. It's a gift to all of us.
Hi, Colette and Benjamin. So nice to see you here for World Marrow Donor Day. So the purpose of this call is to learn about your wonderful connection over stem cell donation. If you wanted to start, Colette, by telling me about your journey.
Sure. It's a pleasure for me to be able to share. I was diagnosed in April 2016 with acute lymphoblastic leukemia. And I was treated in chemotherapy, the standard protocol, for about 4 months. And after 4 months, they said, well, you really need a bone marrow transplant to get through this. And I really at first was not, didn't appreciate the challenge that I would be facing. And I was, in terms of genetic profile, I'm, French Canadian, born and raised in Quebec. Our family has been here for over 3 centuries, and we don't move around much. So my assumption going in was that there would be abundant profiles in the community that would be matches or close matches to mine, and that it would just, happen. And what I found, though, after a few months is that I didn't know then, I only found out after the transplant, but there were no matches in Quebec or in Canada for that matter. And the reason is not because there aren't compatible donors, it's just that there are not enough people on the registry. So people don't know of it, and that's why I appreciate all of your efforts at Why We Swap. And so when that happens, when they can't find a match for you in the close community, they reach out to the international registries. And that's where they, knocked on Benjamin's door. So maybe I'll let Benjamin talk about his story, what motivated you, Benjamin, to register.
Yes, thank you, Colette. So about my journey, I registered in 2015. It was because my sister was ill a few years ago. There was a hard diagnosis concerning lymphomania, cancer. And so in 2016, I received a letter from the KMS, it's a German narrow bone center. And so a lot of examinations followed in November 2016. Then the actual stem cell donation took place. And after it, there was a 2-year period of anonymity. And so it was in 2019 when I met Colette the first time.
Yeah.
Yes.
We found out about each other 2 years after exactly, that in December 2018. So I had been, when I got my transplant, I realized how fortunate I was that they found a donor, and a lot of people don't find perfect matches. We were a perfect match. It was a 10-10 match. So again, I assumed that it was, until I found out about Benjamin, I assumed that it was someone in the near community that would be a perfect match for me, and that I would eventually meet that person a year after, because the protocol in Canada is that you can reach out to find your donor, and it works both ways, a year after. And many people don't go through that. They don't want to know who it is, or but for me, it was very important. And from the moment I found out that I had a donor, and certainly at the transplant moment, and every moment, every day after my transplant, I felt so privileged that I was really motivated to get to know who this person was. I had to find out who the person was. And they warn you in advance that some donors don't want to be found out. They like to keep a low profile, which is fine. But even if that had been the case, I at least wanted to have the opportunity to send a letter to reach out, to touch that person. So I waited for a year, and then I put in my request to find my donor, and they told me that my donor was from an international country. They wouldn't even tell me where from. I would have to wait 2 years. So at the 2-year milestone, I reached out, and Benjamin was there, and he was ready and willing to engage. And we started right. It started with an email from Benjamin. It was just lovely. So. And I've since found out that Germany is very, very generous in terms of the donor registry. They have a very active and engaged community. So, and there are several European countries, as I understand it. So we are indebted to them.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Benjamin, how was it like going through the donation? What process did you go under?
Yeah, it was a kind of stem cell donation. So there are two possibilities. The stem cell donation, I think it's the softer option, but in my case it was also, they said, the better option for Colette. And the other way to donate is
the extraction, bone
the
marrow
extraction. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people are afraid of this option because they do not know the other option. So it's called the stem cell donation. Yeah, and how was it? You can compare it with a little cold. Yeah, it's like a little cold. It feels like a little cold. You feel a little bit sick for 1 or 2 days after it. You shouldn't do any sports after it for 1 or 2 days. And yeah, the 1 week before you can take some pain pills. Yeah. So all in all, I must say it's like a little cold. So not really hard. The duration was 1 day. They said to me they don't know how long it turns. It could be 1 day or 1.5 days or 2 days. But in my case, they had enough stem cells after 1 day. So I went to work after the day after, and so it was not really a big problem for me.
Yeah, you did the one similar to blood donation, right?
Yes, right.
Nice.
Peripheral stem cell. Yeah.
Yeah. So you went back to work just a few days after and felt completely fine.
Yeah, just 1 day after it. So not really complicated.
Yeah. And after donation, were you excited to reach out to Colette after 2 years?
Yes. The problem is we have, of course, good reasons for hard rules in the most countries. I think in Canada it's a 1-year period of anonymity, and in Germany it's 2 years. So after 2 years I got a letter from the German organization, and they said, okay, the people or the person who received your stem cells is now willing to meet you. And so the first step was that I contacted Colette, wrote a short email, and so the story began. Yes.
Yes.
Wonderful. And how was it meeting the two of you?
Well, for me, it was fantastic. First of all, getting that email, and it was just before Christmas. I had my transplant on December 1st, 2016. So the whole thing was always around Christmas. And when I got to the email from Benjamin, it was around mid-December, 2 years later. So it was the best Christmas gift, that I could have. The first best Christmas gift was getting a transplant in the first place, but then 2 years later to be able to contact Benjamin. So it was a very friendly meeting. He told me that he loved soccer. He was a typical German guy, and he loved soccer, and he's into sports and traveling, and certainly I found that out about him. But and so I had planned to possibly go and meet him the following December, which would have been my 3-year transplant anniversary. I wanted to meet him on my transplant anniversary because that's my new birthday, is December 1st now. That's my rebirth. And so that was my plan. But then a few months later, I received an email from Benjamin, and he says, well, we're planning our summer vacation And I now know that Benjamin and his wife Janina, they travel all the time, and they really have a
Almost, yeah.
good life. They enjoy travel, and they're very much into sports. That's why he gave me good stem cells, because he's very healthy. And so they said, well, they were not married then. They were engaged, and they were getting married that summer. And they said, well, we'd like to go on our honeymoon in Canada. So imagine that. So they came, they started out in Toronto, they did the Ontario-Quebec road trip, and they spent a weekend. You know, Benjamin, it's 2 years today. It was the Labor Day weekend, which is this coming weekend.
September,
And
yes.
yes, and they spent 3 days in my home, and we hit it off like immediately. It was immediately, very pleasant. It felt like family, and we had a lovely, lovely time with them. And we were sorry when they left. And I'd like to go this year, but I don't know. Like I keep saying every December, this is the one that I'm going to go. And then last year, of course, was the pandemic, and this year, well, we're not sure yet how it's going to go. So, yeah.
And how about for you, Benjamin? How was it seeing Colette in person for the first time?
Of course, I was also very excited, and yes, like Colette mentioned, it was the honeymoon for my wife and me. And yeah, one day we arrived in the street where Colette lives with her sister and the sweet dog. And as we arrived, I think we had been a little bit too early. So as we arrived in front of the house of Colette, yeah, she was outside with her dog, and I saw her, and I said to my wife, Janina, I think that is Colette. And we looked at each other, and we knew, okay, this is
Yeah.
this is her, this is him. And I think Colette, if I'm right, I think we just fell in arms each other. And
Yes.
yeah,
It was like in those commercials when there's a person that and you
Yeah.
run towards each other, and it was just a lovely. As soon as I saw them from the corner of the street. I was walking the dog, and I saw these two beautiful people, because they're both beautiful and they're very tall and healthy and all that. And I saw them, and I saw, those are my people. That's my new family. And
So not
and we
many
ran.
not many words at the beginning, but a
No.
lot of emotions. And
Yes.
yeah, after 1 or 2 hours, we had a lot of good conversations with Colette and her sister José. And yeah, like Colette said, it feels like family.
Yeah. And and I also talked to Benjamin's mother and his sister Joanna. Joanna was the one who was ill from lymphoma a few years ago. Joanna was the one who triggered all of this. Like, if it weren't for her, sensitizing her brothers and sisters that there was an opportunity to give to society and to register, it wouldn't have happened. I might not be here today. I might not have ever found my match. So it's an incredible experience, and it's more, there's a life before and a life after something like that, and it's very positive on both sides, as Benjamin is saying, for all of us. It's fantastic.
Yeah, like you said, it was your rebirth.
Yes, it is a rebirth. It is a rebirth, and there's no doubt in my mind that I wouldn't be here if it weren't for Benjamin. And every time I, have a good day, I'm healthy, I'm well, and I'm back to my normal self, and I'm very active, and I'm retired just because I'm an old person, but I'm a very active retiree, and I'm bicycling, I'm doing all kinds of things. And every time every moment I always think it's thanks to Benjamin. If it weren't for him, I wouldn't be doing this, and my family would be without me. It's not just me, it's your environment, your family, your friends. It's a gift to all of us.
No, it's so beautiful. What an amazing relationship you two now have.
Yeah.
To wrap up this, I was wondering if both of you could share, what message do you have for potential donors worldwide watching this right now?
I hadn't realized how challenging it was to find a donor until it happened to me. And I only realized after I went through my experience that I had been very, very lucky to find a match within just a few months. And probably that's because I have a very simple ethnic background, and now as I become more aware of the challenges, I see the challenge with all of the mixed ethnicities all over the world. And I can't imagine, I know what the struggle is because I read about it all the time, and I'm very aware of the challenges for so many people to find the perfect match. And it has to do with your ethnicity, and to finding mixed ethnicities is even a greater challenge. So the challenges are tremendous. So it's very, very important for more people to step up, to register, no matter what your ethnicity is. Just get in there and register, and you'll feel, and then maybe you'll never donate, but if you're lucky, you will get to donate one day and save someone. So it's positive, and we need more people on the registry. Simple as that.
Yeah, especially for ethnic donors, they're much more likely to find a match from the same ethnic group as you. So we really try to encourage all sorts of people from all different backgrounds to sign up and save a life just like yours.
Yeah, exactly.
How about you, Benjamin? What message do you have for other donors just like you?
Yeah, just one thing, don't be afraid, make it.
Just do it.
To the point, just do it.
Yeah.
Just do it, yes.
Well, thank you both so much. And I'm sure donors worldwide are very happy to hear both of your story and will be encouraged to sign up as well. Thank you both.